Trap vessels are used to harvest crab, prawn, shrimp, and sablefish. The length of the season varies with each species. Crab and prawn vessels range from just under 4 meters to over 20 meters. There are 48 vessels eligible to fish sablefish. These are typically larger, ranging in length from 13 to 35 meters. Most trap vessels will fish several strings of gear at one time. Each string of gear is set out in different locations, and the vessel travels from string to string, hauling and resetting. Trap vessels have a hauler that is suspended from a davit at the side of the vessel that is used to haul the traps or pots. Much like long lining, a string of traps consists of a length of long line or ground line with individual baited traps attached at intervals. To set a string of traps requires setting a buoy connected to a buoy line and deploying an anchor. The ground line, which is stored on a drum or coiled on deck, is set out and traps are snapped or tied to the ground line at regular intervals. When all traps are set, another anchor and buoy are deployed and the traps are left to soak on the ocean floor. Retrieving the gear is done in the reverse order of setting. The buoy is picked up and placed through the line hauler. The anchor is retrieved and the ground line wound onto the drum or coiled on deck as it comes aboard. As traps surface, they are lifted onto the deck and the product removed. The trap is then rebaited and readied for the next set. Sablefish traps are removed by taking the weight of the traps up with the single fall. The trap is then unsnapped and swung in and dumped, either on a dumping table or in checkers. The trap is then landed on the deck and the single fall removed and made ready for the next trap. The trap is then rebaited and readied for the next set. A small number of trap vessels engaged in crab and prawn fishing will fish single traps rather than multiple traps on a ground line. A single trap attached to a line is set on the ocean floor and a buoy is attached. After soaking, the trap is retrieved, product removed, rebaited, and reset. The maximum allowable traps are determined by the area of the coast the vessel is licensed to fish. Vessels fishing sablefish are not restricted by the number of traps fished. Rather, each has a maximum quota that they are licensed to harvest each year. Smaller vessels will be operated by an owner-operator and sometimes a deckhand. Medium-sized vessels will include the master and 1 or 2 deckhands. Larger vessels may fish with a crew of 5 to 12 workers. In addition to conducting fishing operations, the crew will be required to store product live or clean and freeze catch during a trip.